In this video, we will look at the menus, backgrounds, page transitions, cloning, aligning, grouping, and page design. So the first thing with our menus, you notice here over on my right side, I have my tab view. Sometimes you might not want this. So to simply change that, you can go to View, down to Tab View, and then you have your three options, off, left, and right. So off, you get rid of your tabs, you can no longer see that. And then obviously with your left and right, whichever your choice preference is. Now we're going to look at backgrounds. One good use of backgrounds here you see is that you could have this picture for your background and then tell your students, write a descriptive paragraph about the scene without naming what it is. But how do we get a background on our Mimio notebook? So one way we can do that is just click anywhere in your white space on your background and come down to background. You can also go to Insert, Background. So to do an image, I'm just going to come here, go to Image. You would need to have something already on your computer or go out and find something and save it. So I'm simply going to pick this picture. And then now we are in Mode. You see we have 4 different choices: place, stretch, tile, and center. All different options. Right now with place, you can see it's putting it over there in the corner, and you see a little preview here. If we do stretch, it's going to make it fill up the entire area. Tile will just make it tile out into little squares. And center would center the image on the page. You can choose whatever you would like. So we can do that, say OK. Then maybe you decide you want something else for the background. You'll get to your options the same way. And so now you can see I have current background, so that is that image that I have chosen. If I want to get rid of it, I'll simply choose none. And maybe you simply want a color for your background. So we'll click on color, and now you see all my color choices that are there. If you want something different than what's already on your palette, you can say define custom colors, and then I can come and move my little cursor and find a color that I like, choose it over here. If it's something that you think you'll want to use a lot, you can do add to custom colors, and we'll put it down below, and then we'll say OK, and now you can see my background is going to be purple. Next thing we're going to look at is page transitions. I compare this a lot to PowerPoint, exactly like a transition on a PowerPoint. So you would need to do this on each page. And one simple way is your right click, come down to page transition, or you can also come to insert page transition. So we have a list of options here. If you click on one, it'll do a little preview for you what it looks like. Once you find one you like, you can say OK, and that transition is now added. Now granted, right now we don't see anything as happening. If I come back to my page before, and then now go on to my next page, you now see the transition that it did that I had already chosen. So to get to your transitions, insert page transitions, choose one that you like. Cloning. Cloning can be useful if you want several of the same image or object. Here you see I have a variety of coins, and maybe I'm going to have my students do a coin counting activity, or they're going to have to sort it into different amounts instead of having to put on 10 quarters, 20 dimes, 5 pennies. We can simply clone them. So you already have your images in, probably from your gallery. And to clone it, you need to have it chosen, so that means you have this little box around it. And then I'm going to right click and come down to clone. Or you can come to insert and clone. How do we know it's cloned? You now see this blue box around it. Then when I put my cursor in the middle, you see my little pointer finger with a plus sign. That means it's cloned. So now if I click on this image, and then you see I can drag out another quarter and just get my pile of quarters there. So you would do that same process to clone each image. And then one thing I don't like is having this blue box around it. So if you want to get rid of that blue box, you can make sure your image is chosen, and then we now will lock that. Now my blue box is gone. My item is still cloned, I can still move out my pennies, but you no longer see that blue box. So I'm going to do the same to my other 2 cloned items and lock them, And now we don't see the blue box, but we see that our coins are still cloned. Okay, I know on our previous cloning page we looked a little bit at locking and unlocking objects, but now let's take a look at an example of why it would be important to lock items on your page. Here you see that I have a chart that has wings, fins, legs, and scales, and then we have our pictures down here. One would assume that you're going to want your students to drag the picture into the right column. Right now, nothing is locked, anything can be moved around. So I can move my birds, my animals. Now the problem we run into is the kids can also accidentally grab onto my chart, move my chart, now it's all out of whack. So that would be a good thing to go ahead and lock. So to lock that, I'm just going to click on my chart. You see it's now outlined, and we can come down, right click, go to lock, or you can use your toolbar and go to Format, Locking, and Lock. Now my chart can no longer be moved, but I am still able to move my animal pictures. Now, same thing if you want to just go ahead and unlock something. You can right click it anywhere on the page, come down to Unlock All, or go to Format, Locking, Unlock All. The next thing we're going to look at is aligning objects, pictures, words. Right now you see I have these sets of boxes, and it would probably be a little bit more pleasing to look at if they were aligned. So what I will first do is select my two problem boxes, and now to align, like always, you can right click and come down to Align, or you can come to Format and Align. Now you see we have 6 options. When you choose this, it's just going to align it according to the pictures. It's not going to be like your Microsoft Word, left, centered, right. It's going to align it according to the pictures. So here, for these 2 boxes, I'm going to choose to align to the top. What that did was move this one so it lined up with the top of that one. Here with my 2 solution boxes, I'm also going to align them. So I'm going to come to Align, and this time I think I want to align it to the left. So I'll do that. Now I'll move my other solution box over there to the far left. So you pretty much have to decide with whatever it is you're trying to align, what's going to be the best situation to get them aligned up so that it looks pleasing. The last thing we're going to look at is grouping different objects. First we're going to look here and see that we have the box, my typed words problem, and then an arrow. So right now these are just 3 individual things, and we want to go ahead and make them one cohesive thing that we can move together. So what I'm going to do is get all of my objects situated where I would like them. You notice they're 3 individual objects. So in order to group them, you need to have them all chosen. An easy way is just to come out here, hold down your mouse cursor, and drag over to highlight them. And now what I'm going to do is you can right click, come to Grouping and choose Group, or come up to Format, Grouping, and Group. And now you see they're all one cohesive thing. I can move them all at one time. We'll also take a look here at the house. Right now they're each individual pieces, and you would move them one at a time. And so once again, I'm just going to use my highlighting technique to get them chosen. Go Grouping, Group, and now my objects are all grouped as